Well, greetings, world, and greetings, Seventh Spot. It is time, it's time. It is time for another weekend blat. And this time we're doing a Newark Kit Car Festival preview show. And joining us today, we are so pleased to have with us my co host, John Minion. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
And Chris Hollier, the star of our show.
Avon Restoration.
Thank you so much, Avon Rescue. My apologies. As I have my senior moment. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, so we're going to get into it because we've got the Newark show coming up, and Chris, as I understand it, you're going to be bringing the Avon Rescue to the show. Is that right?
That's right. Hope you're going to be there for both days. And I just want to try and generate some conversation with people to find out what they think about the car, to find out if we can share a few ideas. If a couple of people take away a couple of little bits from the show after having looking at the car, then that's great. Objective achieved. That's all we need to do from it.
Yeah. And I think
you've made some changes as well, which some people may agree with, some people won't. I know you've done work on the dash, you've done work on the footwell. So, yeah, but as you say, you're very interested to get feedback on that as well.
Yeah, and it'll suit certain people, and it will be of no use whatsoever to others. The ones that can already fit in a Tiger Avon, 50% of the work I've done will be pointless for them. So yeah, it's a conversation starter that should be quite an intriguing weekend, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, because we have had some comments back off of the YouTube channel about fellows who have owned Avons in the past but cannot possibly see themselves fitting in them because they're tall guys. One fellow said he's 6'2". There's just no way he would fit in, he said.
But Tiger did do a wider version, the XL version, and I think the R10's wider as well. So don't take this as a criticism of Tiger. There is one out there that you'll fit. You just got to pick the right model, basically.
Yeah. There's another little an edge to this, which is I'm really intrigued by. When I first made my Mosquitoes all those years ago, back in 1989, Newark was the first kit car show I was an exhibitor at. It's the first one I ever went to. And when they had the little wooden sheds out the back, I was one of the exhibitors. I was the first one inside the door in my little shed. So yeah, I'm absolutely intrigued to go back there and see how much it's changed.
Yeah.
Well, being that I just thought I'd toss up my little website just so that folks can see where you started and where you are now. This is kind of what you purchased, but yeah, I was always intrigued by this roller that you purchased. Did it come with the engine, or is that something you went out and purchased separately?
No, it came with an engine, but it had never been fitted to the car. The previous owner had just sourced an injection Sierra engine and a Type 9 5-speed, and they were parked in somebody else's garage somewhere. So he was keen to offer it as a complete package to try and make sure that it sold fairly easily. As it turned out, he could have probably sold it 50 times over at the price it was, with the amount of stuff that was included in it. And I was lucky I wasn't too far away and I could move on it instantly.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because before the show we were talking about the evolution of kits and how we've got people who are into body kits nowadays, and they're the bigger thing for the younger generation, shall we say? And because I guess it's not because of any other reason other than it's not so time consuming. I know that when I built my kit, it's I just a weekend warrior. It took a year and a half or thereabouts. But with the body kits, it doesn't. Somebody can get in there, be a kit builder, and get the job done.
Yeah. I don't know much about body kits at all. I know you can go out and buy a Z3 and put a Cobra replica on it. I think there's probably others out there. That's the main one that I know about. But I don't know much about them, if I'm honest. We were hoping to. It was the guy that we were hoping to get on today. That's going to be at Newark as well, displaying.
Yeah, I'll bring his name on in just a bit. But let's just carry on with what we're doing here. This is the second episode that are looking at some photographs here. You did, I guess you must have put the engine in the hole somewhat so that you could position the transmission, and you managed to move the shifter back so for a taller, or forward for a taller person. Is that what you did there?
Yeah, well, you have to fit the engine and gearbox in the hole fairly early on to get the engine height right, because the Pinto's a tall engine and the Avon's a small car. So you have to get the bottom of the cam cover almost touching the bottom of the bonnet to make it make sense. Otherwise, the engine sticks out the bottom of the car too much. So it's all about clearances. So that went in first. And while it was in there, the gear shifter position was such that if you were sitting a lot further forward, it would work fine for you. But where I was, I had to move things around to make it fit where I was going to be. So I've moved it backwards and down some, because I'm going to be sitting on the floor. There's no seats going in this. I'm having a padded board effectively going on the floor, and another padded board going as a backrest.
You're going to use like a foam, expanding foam or something to collect it.
No, I actually I use carpet underlay foam. It's like a recycled chip foam. It's a bit more dense than ordinary lightweight yellow foam, but you can layer it really well, and you can actually shape it with a flap wheel on it on an angle grinder.
I've seen that done.
And it works. You can actually shape it really nicely. So I'm going to cover this in quite a bit of detail in one of the episodes, because it's something that anybody can do at home.
I'll tell you what, there will be a lot of people who are very interested to see that. And in fact, it's the kind of thing I would love. I mean, I've told John about it, and I'll tell you about it. One of the things I want to do with my website is to create a knowledge a place where people can go find not only the tips as you're showing in this, but if they want to actually see hands-on what you do, what you need to have to get, and showing how you can actually shape a seat like that. Because as John mentioned, you can do it with the expandable foam, but I've never seen one that actually looks any very good. They don't look quite wretched once they're in the car.
Yeah, the expanding foam works really well and they're very comfortable, but how do you cover it afterwards? Because it's such an irregular shape. If you can do it with foam slabs and carve them, you can actually make it so that you can, with the cover in mind, you can make it so that it'll work.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. It probably won't be IVA to get it through IVA. Probably won't be good for that, but looking forward to that.
And of course,
my understanding is for the IVA, the seat does not have to be adjustable. So even if it is boards on the floor and boards as a backrest, as long as they're secured in the car, it should still comply.
Okay, makes sense.
I'll wait to be proved wrong on that one, but that's my understanding at the moment.
Yeah, if anybody knows anything, drop it in the comments, or we'll pick up on it. Thank you.
Because now these obvious, the seats that are in this particular scene that we're looking at right now, they must have been just pieces of foam that you've just laid in there for the purposes of testing the wheel height and so on. Is that right?
Yeah, this is right. What I've got is 3 or 4 friends who are all very similar to me, but all different sizes. So the idea being with this car, because it's never going to be just me, I want it to fit 3 or 4 different size people without having an adjustable seat. So what we've got is different size backrests. This is a 2-inch one that's in there at the moment, and we've got a 4-inch one as well, so we can shove people further forward in the car. So it should fit anybody from about 5'8", 5'9", up to about 6'3" or 6'4". And I'm going to take them to Newark, so that I can actually say to people, right, come on, sit in there, tell me what you think. What can you reach? What can't you reach? Is it working? Is it not working? Because then, even if you've got size 11 feet, try the footwell. But I mean, the ultimate goal for me is I won't keep this car forever. When it's done, when we finish the series, when I've tested it, when I've raced it and enjoyed it, it'll be for sale. So it doesn't want to be only fitting me, because otherwise the audience is dramatically reduced. So it needs to be adjustable for other people without having to bolt a seat in it, if possible.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, we got a message coming in here we have to share. It's from somebody called Nukcog John,
That was
typing furiously away on his keyboard.
That's just that was just a reminder from me to remember to say that Tiger going to be at Newark. I don't remember them being at many shows, but they're going to be at Newark and they're going to be unveiling their new R10, which I'm looking forward to see that.
Absolutely. I do have them tabbed, so we'll have the chance to have a quick chat about them. So no problem on that. But
perhaps you guys will know more than me on this, but this is their first new model in quite some time, I believe.
Oh yeah, well, I guess it's the first reveal for ERA. Then the Italian company that is taken over. I've actually sent a message over to them, waiting for a response, but my Italian is not that great. So it'd be lovely to have a chat with them about that.
I'm giving a friendly wave because I understand that possibly Laura Dudley may be watching. So, evening, Laura, if you are watching, and we'll see you at Newark.
Absolutely.
Hi, Laura.
We'll leave it at that.
I'll see you again soon.
Yeah. Well, you've been to the factory and you've seen the R10 and you quite like it.
I did. I was there about 2 weeks ago buying front wing stays, and and Laura's been very, very helpful researching the history of the car for me. Found out the chassis number, found out the original customer's name, and it was a very quick preview of the R10, I must say, but it looked lovely. It was really a together design that looked like it was going to be a very, very competent car and a very good seller for them, I would imagine.
Round tube. Say no more on that. That's going to be nice and stiff. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
And you got the option of the Dion or the independent rear suspension as well, I think.
Yeah, well, Paul Dudley he's been racing Avons or Tigers generally for years now, and they do a lot of motor racing. So it's a very well researched product and very well used. So they know exactly what they're talking about when it comes to performance cars. And if they think the market is turning more towards high performance race specialized cars rather than road cars, they'll have been in the right place to find that one out.
Yeah,
they've clocked up some serious wins in some of the 750 motor series. I think they're going to whichever racing. But they certainly clock up. They're serious racing cars. When they're set up and everything. Yeah. Serious bits of kit.
Yeah. But I've stopped the screen on this particular event because this is what Chris is deep in the shed doing right now. Tell us what's happening with you right now and how you're burning the midnight oil.
Is it going to be ready for Newark?
The dash? The dash is going to be ready. I'm going to make that 100%. It's going to be ready. It's a very different take on what a lot of other people have done. I haven't really ever seen a bad dashboard in a 7, but I've seen some which you can imagine if the sun's in the wrong direction, you're going to struggle seeing some of the dials. Purely because they're not driver focused. They're either dead symmetrical because people like symmetry. I take it or leave it. I actually prefer asymmetry on a lot of times. And I want to be able to drive this thing fast. And to do that, I can't be moving my head around to see the rev counter, and I can't be struggling to find this. Everything has to be instinctive and in exactly the right place. And because I'm focusing on performance on this one, I thought, okay, I've got a blank sheet of paper. Let's do what's going to work really well for really fast use.
Yeah,
and that's what's prompted.
Sorry, you're going hill climbing, yeah.
Yeah, hill climb, sprint, and track days is what I'm aiming for. So this is all designed to make sure you're looking as much as possible straight ahead all the time, but everything is within easy view. And it's another one that I really want people's feedback from when they see the car at Newark, so they can sit in it and say, well, how about this? What about if you change that a little bit, and how would that work? But when you can see this picture's a really good idea of what the problem was for me, because the steering wheel spokes cover a huge area of the dashboard where you would normally put the dials. The only other option was to put the two main dials in the middle of the dash, and where the hell do you put all the other ancillary gauges? So this allowed me.
you've also raised that steering wheel a bit so you can fit in. So normally it probably sits a little bit lower. So on your normal Tiger, and the Tiger clocks are smaller than the ones you've got. You've got quite big clocks on yours as well to try and fit in.
Yeah, I mean the big clocks were all about the budget again. I think I told you the other day I bought a complete Triumph Dolomite dashboard with all the dials for £50. So you can't match that for price. It's just unbeatable. So therefore, that's what needed to go in and do what it takes to make them work. I've changed them around. I've changed the look of them slightly. So again, I'm going to save that as a surprise when we get to Newark, because they're going to be a bit different to what a lot of people have seen.
Yeah. Well, look who's joining us. We have Richard Hall. Welcome, Richard.
Hi, Jim. Sorry I'm late.
No worries. No worries at all. We're just going on like we normally do.
Yeah.
So welcome to our Newark preview show. We're busy telling all about the Avon rescue that Chris Collier is building for our YouTube channel, and it's doing remarkably well. And so we thought we'd throw that in as a preamble, if you will, to perhaps having a look at just before having a look at some of the other show events, such as what have we got here? We've got GBS. Tell us about what's going to be happening with GBS at Newark.
I think the plan at the moment is to have the race car on display, the Duratec demo. I think we may be having Kevin's car, the nice white Mazda.
Wow!
With the red stripe.
Not sure yet.
Yeah, he built that. He built that GBS himself, and he loved it so much. He now works for you, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah.
It's a sneaky way to get a job.
I think
2.5 years or more.
Yeah, he did drop me a note, and he was giggling a little bit because he said he turned up for the interview in it, and he like virtually immediately got the job.
Yeah. Well, we've known Kev for years, so you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And he's only 10 minutes down the road, I think, as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just at the road near Worksop. So.
Yeah.
So we're going to have the Zero. Are you be bringing down the EV Zero as well?
I don't think so. It's well underway now of its final build. So all the batteries are in and the motor and stuff. So it's that sort of stage where it's not really safe to move.
Yeah.
Until all the hardware's in.
Well, that I knew that wasn't coming. We're not going to be bringing it along, but it gave me an opportunity to do an advertisement for you. So please go on and tell us a bit more about the EV Zero.
It's got the Tesla. Is it the front drive or the rear drive unit?
So it's the Tesla Model S rear drive, which is, I think it's about 308 horsepower. It works out at.
Wow.
So there's quite a bit of power there. And then the battery pack we've got is a 58 kilowatt hour unit. So it's probably a little big, to be honest, but
it'll give a good range.
Yeah, I think we could, should do over 200 miles at a decent pace and a lot more going steady.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
but the battery output's more than the motor can pull. So in theory, we can run the motor as hard as we want, as long as we can manage temperatures.
Yeah.
And is there room for expansion, like more battery?
You probably could. I don't think you'd want to be honest, but you could. We've put all the DC fast charging on as well, so we didn't want to rely on just your normal, 16 amp or 32 amp single phase. We can do the direct DC fast charging, so you should be able to charge it up at all your main charging points that the Teslas and everything use.
Because a lot of people also don't realise they're still water cooled, so you're still going to need a radiator because certainly when you charge there's going to be 2 radiators. Two,
yeah.
One for the battery and one for the engine.
Yeah, there's enough sort of thermal mass in the battery and the battery casing to probably do one real hard discharge. But it's then if you go straight then into a charge cycle and repeated cycles, that's when your temperatures start to climb. Then you've got a separate one on the rear. We're going to put a small radiator there that does the inverter and the motor.
Okay. Because the motor's water cooled as well, of course.
Water cooled, yeah. There's like a heat exchanger. So I think it's oil through the gearbox and the motor that then goes through a heat exchanger to the normal coolant, and then the inverter's cooled as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'll be bringing down a couple of zeros to have a look at. And of course, for those people who are not aware, perhaps we should just quickly touch on the fact that these are available as self-build, or you'd be happy to build them for a zero for them right in the shop, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so we've got from, a single donor. We're just launching the new single donor kit as well. So we've had the ultimate self-build for a few years now, which is everything split into 5 packages, and it's really nice and simple that you know exactly what you need and what you're getting. And we've found the Mazda sort of market's been wanting the same. So the idea is we're going to have 6 modules to build the whole car. So if you buy all 6 modules, you've got a complete car, and then there's some options along the way. So we're launching that package next weekend, and we've gone with quite a nice spec. So it's got the nice seats, carpet, all the nice trimmy bits. We've not really pulled it back too much, but then you've got the options for all the ATR brakes and upgraded dampers and so on. But yeah, if you just went with all the standard packages, you've got a very nice car out the box.
Yeah. You could also go overboard, or say overboard, but because you're running different ECUs that will still can now handle wheel sensors. So you get your ABS, you get your launch control, you get your stability. And tell us a bit about how the ECU monitors the engine, say your Duratec or whatever. It monitors everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got two ECUs we run. So we run the Emerald K6, which are down in Watton in Norfolk, and Emerald, we've been with them. Before GBS, the first car I built, we met Dave Walker, and that's how that all started. And we've had hundreds of Emeralds over the years for different things, and really good ECU, nice software, really good people to deal with on the support. But then we've also gone with Life Racing for the more sort of complex engines where there's a bit more going on, and they're a more expensive engine. You want a bit more added safety, so you can do the limp mode, engine cuts and things like that. So Life Racing are more of motorsport, so they'll be doing World Rally, do some Le Mans stuff. They've done F1 in the past. I think they do IndyCar. So it's quite a high level bit of technology, but they do their F88, which is sort of their entry level, but it's still all the same software and all the same mechanics, just got less IOs on it. So we use that on the Duratec. That monitors all your temperatures, so we won't let the engine develop full power until we get above 50 degrees oil temp. We know what amazing. Oil pressure we should see. It is once you start getting into it, the first time you open it up, you'll be like, oh my god, what of it, how the hell do I work this?
I got a dumb question for you.
It's really good.
Richard, I got a dumb question for you. When do you sleep?
We keep saying this because every time we speak to you or go and see you on a stand, you've always done something else, and we swear you never sleep, and you must have
there's always something going on
side of your bed.
No, I think just like developing stuff and moving it on.
Well, that you is moving it along, and it shows. People are so happy with what they've got with their GBS.
Yeah. And you can see the quality there as well, and everyone raves about it.
Yeah, we want to just it's constant. We just keep up in the quality. Like the latest Zeros, we've changed like the floor now. We've done a little press tool, so the bolts for the seats are indented in the floor, so you don't wear them out and catch them on the ground, because everyone grinds the bolts. It's little things, and we're just constantly trying to add them in. And that's right onto the, your basic single donor or your factory built. If there's a change, it goes across on everything. Yeah.
And this is what I say to people. You need to go to these kit car shows or go to the manufacturers and talk to them, and they will tell you about all these little developments that are coming on. I didn't know about these recessed bolts underneath, for instance, and that is a brilliant idea. But mine are all ground off underneath.
We've all done it. You go over a speed bump, or you're pushing it hard, and you wear the bolts off, and your seat comes loose, or you didn't the
bottom out or whatever.
That should make it better. We've also found it's quite nice. It lifts the seat runner, so it just lifts it off the carpet, so your runners don't get caught up in the fluff of the carpet over time.
So the sliders slide, and they don't get.
And that was kind of an added bonus. I think what else we've done recently. The diffuser mount now is all part of the chassis, so it's one less component on the car. So we've saved a bit of weight, a bit of time. There's some new rear lighting that we're doing that's coming out shortly. So full LED and stuff. We've altered the wiring looms. Probably it must have been about 3 or 4 months ago. So we've got centre brake light. There's they've got all the fog and everything on both sides reversed now. So all the export cars, the wiring's already in. We've put power feed to the headlamps and an indicator to the headlamps. So the new headlamps we're looking at, we can have daytime running and indicators in there. So it's not
brilliant.
In the UK, you don't have to do it, but some countries you have to do it. And it kind of makes sense that people see you. We're already quite low on the road. So if we can get a bit of visibility for nothing, we might as well.
Go for it. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the export thing, because you can export anywhere in the world, part built or part kits or complete kits anywhere in the world. And you've also got a distributor out in the US, haven't you? Is it Paul Barnes?
Yeah, so we've been doing cars all over really. We've just had 2 go out to California. One's a customer car, one's it was the sister car to the Gen 2 prototype that we've had. Yeah. It's going to be a demonstrator / hire car. So we thought any customers want to go on holiday in California and drive a Zero and do the Pacific Coast Highway or in the mountains.
Yes.
Oh, wow. You can actually hire it and go for a holiday in it.
Yeah, the Pacific Coast Highway is just going to be glorious in a GV.
Yeah, it's just going to be amazing. So we're going to have a car there, and we thought, why not? So we've got US customers can use it as a demo, and that well, they can hire it as well. But we thought anyone wants to go out and have a week driving around California.
Yeah, brilliant.
That car. Paul's out in Corona, California.
We did an unboxing video of him for the car.
It's a couple of years. Yeah, so that was Ben.
Ben, that's him. Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, so he's all on the road now with that.
Brilliant. It arrived in perfect condition, and I think it only took about 2 weeks to get there, or even less. I think, and it went by ship. I think there was another one that he sent out that was going by air, but the one by ship got there first.
They're not. It varies a little bit depending on where they go. We've found sometimes it gets the shipping across is quicker than the rail freight across America on a couple of them. It seems to vary.
Right.
So it's worth just giving yourself like a month and a half because you never quite know. And then we've got a show coming up out near San Francisco. We're doing at Santa Monia Raceway.
I didn't know that. Okay.
It's the Miata 50th anniversary.
Jimmy, are you making a note of that?
I am making a note.
Richard, do a live stream.
Yeah. Well, it's not a live stream. I will want to be in touch so
catch
we can even
catch up on it.
Yeah, and maybe do a recording about what's going on or something like that.
Yeah, first weekend of November.
Okay, sounds great.
The exact date.
Yeah. End of October. Excuse me as I scribble away, because that's what I do. Well, Richard, that's great. We're all caught up on what's happening at GBS, except for, we have to remind everybody it's great to look at these things on the screen of your phone or iPad, or you're on the screen of your computer. But if you want to see it and touch it and feel it, be at Newark.
Yeah. And then you can speak. Actually, this is what I keep saying. Go and speak to the manufacturers. Go and have a chat to them. See who you get on with. Have a sit in the car. See what works for you. So many different options out there. So, go and see them. Go and see them and talk to them. They might even make you a coffee.
Yeah, I think from my own experience looking at the cars back before GBS, it's kind of go and speak to them, get a feel for it, and it's the car, but it's the company as well and the support. It's it's the whole thing that makes the difference.
I've been catching up on your GBS. Could you do open days, coffee days, and you do pizza days as well? You can turn up and get a pizza. They're going down really well, but that's open to all marks of cars. It's not just GBS, is it? Anyone can turn up. And I always say to people that are going, do keep your eyes out, because you don't only work on just GBS, you do repair work. You had an Ultima in, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about this. You had an Ultima in, but you do classic car restoration as well, don't you?
We've done a bit of all sorts. It's kind of, it's IVAs on anything. We've done an electric bus that does tourism tours around Cambridge. That we did all the IVA and engineering work. We've done loads of different things from race cars. Currently in the workshop, we've got an Ultima. We've got a 1991 Lotus Lamborghini F1 car that we're doing a full rebuild on.
Wow.
We've got I was going to say Fisher Fury, but it's not. It's the mid-engine one. I forget the model now.
Not the Striker. No. It's the I know what you mean.
Really nice one with a Sigma, 1600 Sigma in the back for IVA. So workshop-wise, we do all sorts, and it's sort of, I think, because we've got the engineering side as well, we can do like the Formula One car we got, because the original thermostat housing or water pump housing was a magnesium part that had just rotted away. So we just remade them in alley.
You can't just go on eBay and order one. No.
Nothing on that car is.
It's all bespoke.
Standard. It's a work of art.
Yeah. Totally bespoke.
This comes back to your engineering and in-house, because I think probably 80 to 90% of your stuff is now made in-house, isn't it? So you don't have to worry about getting donor parts and mucking around with stuff. It's going to be a nice clean build and bolt together thing, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're going sort of the ultimate route in that and all the ATR stuff, it's not a kit car in the sense of it as it used to be using donor parts. It's all brand new, everything bespoke. It's it's kind of, it's still a self-assembly, but it's not like like the traditional getting the old parts, cleaning up. Yeah, we've still got that with the Mazda route or the older Ford route. But you can just go and do everything brand new. All the shiny bits to start with. Which is what we're doing on the factory builds and that, and you kind of where you are with the stuff then. With all you get an old part or something, and you put a bearing in and someone's caught the flange and it doesn't sit right, and a couple of hours later messing about or something.
You can waste so much time. You can waste so much time trying to get stuff to fit, and this isn't right. And so this is, we're talking to somebody with I get it was a Tiger, and it was his first kit car, and he kind of came to the conclusion, if it's going to be your first kit car, you're better off don't go for one that you're going to build yourself. Go for one you just have to bolt together, like a GBS, like an MK, whatever.
I think you're right. It's what we're trying to do is, if someone comes to the factory and that sort of, it's kind of get the best package for them. So sort of run, what their skills are, what the budget is, what performance they want, and everything. And there's a sweet spot in there where you end up. I always kind of think there's almost like this build triangle. Budget, performance, time, and somewhere within that is where you end up. Some guys
and the other component is skill set too, because as we've just been mentioning, and as Chris has been mentioning, that there's lots of people who would like to take on some sort of a challenge to out in the shed, but not everyone has a full set of spanners, all of the goodies to put together a car. So some people will want it pre-assembled, and a lot of that is, I've talked to a number of different manufacturers. You look at the age grouping. Are they old and gray like me? A lot of people may not want to go out and do that, or they don't have that skill set, or they just don't have that much time left. To be frank, and they would prefer to have something built in house. Just pick it up.
I was going to say, Richard, you offer options on your build that you can have things pre-installed. I know when Ben's car in the States arrived, the seats were pretty much fitted, the dash was in, the brake lines were in, and brake lines, you know full well, Jim, you can spend 2 days trying to sort those out, whereas you can get them pre-fitted by GBS and they're all good to go.
Yeah, we can kind of go any level, from a bare chassis right the way up. We seem to be doing a lot more panelled and painted, and the full component kit comes all panelled and everything on the build Charlie ready.
The
idea was to sort of control the quality, get the fit and finish right. What we were finding was there was a lot of people sort of wanted to build the cars and that, but didn't have the time, and the paneling and all that is like the first job and probably the biggest job that the motor's in, but not. So getting it all pre-paneled and that, then everything else, it's a Saturday morning, it's an evening, it's more sort of manageable size jobs.
But then I think riveting the panels on, you need all the kit, you need all the rivets, you need the rivet gun, probably an air one. Otherwise, you're going to be, if it's a pump up one, you're going to be, your hand's going to be the size of just huge. So
we've bombed a lot of it now. Actually, there's a lot less rivets now than we used to.
That's what I was going to comment. Yeah, it's much more adhesive.
But I think a lot of it on the build dates, we've had customers on varying different skill levels, to some people that had built aeroplanes, very skilled engineers, to people that had had desk jobs, if you like, and never touched a spanner or done anything mechanical. And a lot of it is that mindset and that I want to do it, and the support's there. There's no real daft question. Might be a bit of a laugh occasionally, but ask the question. Support you.
On some of the groups, I just have to bite my tongue and think, look, this guy really doesn't know what he's doing, but he's asked a very serious question, and I'm going to give him a very serious answer. So, I mean, certainly on the, the group information you get out there is absolutely brilliant, and never be afraid to ask a question, no matter how daft you think it is.
No, there's no daft question. You're better off asking as getting it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, you're making a very expensive mistake. Yeah.
We often as well, if we can say to customers, come and collect the kit, make a start, get your head around it, and then come back up to the factory, have a cup of tea, spend a couple of hours then having a look around the car and getting your head around it, because you don't know what you don't know until you start, sort of thing.
Exactly.
And there's too much to take in. It's, as much as you go around the factory and you have a look and we talk around the car, you don't take it all in until you've actually got it in front of you and you've made a start.
Yeah. Well, I've seen on some of the forums when they're building a kit, they'll post, "What is this?" It's a good question, because you look at it and you think, well, where does this bit go? And do I need a washer? Do I need a spacer type thing? And it's good questions like that at least they're asking.
Sorry. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Yeah, we're catching you during family time, and what can we say? I mean, I was going to say thank you so much for the time that you've given us, because we're into it for about 37 minutes so far already. So, what can I say? Stands 27 through 30, I think, is where you'll find GBS. So, how about we let you get back to your family? Who seems to be struggling.
And we'll see you at Newark, yeah?
Yeah, we'll see you at Newark, and thank you for inviting us on and that, and we'll catch up there.
We'll catch you again, Richard. I know that you're busy, and so have yourself a great evening, and we'll see you at Newark.
Okay then, brilliant.
All right,
nice to meet you. Bye.
All right, bye now.
Be seeing you.
Bye.
Well, that was great, guys. Wasn't it fabulous for him to just drop in? I mean, what a great guy to just come in on a moment's notice like that. So
he must get so little sleep.
Oh yeah.
With kids and business and development and everything else, he must be absolutely knackered most of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you've got the weekends as well, because because it is a family-run business, and most of the family there as well. But the stand that they put up, it's absolutely top notch. Go and have a look at the stand. They've got parts and options, and go and speak to them. Just absolutely brilliant.
Well, seeing as we're kind of running up against the wall again, 39 minutes into it, and there are going to be some new things coming out that we have to talk about, because there's a couple things that are sitting heavily on my shoulders, and we just have to get out of the way. Now, first off, we have to talk about what ERA and Tiger are bringing forward, and we just touched base on it. So I thought I'd throw up the website so we can just go a little bit further into it. Yeah, so there it is. I mean, basically, the thing about I love about it is you got mostly round tube. Of course, it's going to have some square tube, but mostly round tube construction. And so, I mean, you touched base on this, Chris. You mentioned, for the person who's into racing, that structural rigidity that's going to offer is just going to make this very, very, very appealing.
Yeah, I mean, it adds another little level of complication, fairly minor, but when it comes to paneling the chassis, you can't literally hold a sheet of aluminium up against a bit of square tube, put rivets in. You've got to start forming it around the edges. But the extra rigidity of round tube over square tube is huge. You've only got to look at the original Cobra chassis, 2 4-inch round tubes front to rear. That was it. Did everything you ever needed it to do. And it was very, very strong and very light. So I'm surprised more people aren't using round tube, to be honest. It's a bit more difficult to work with, but the gains are huge.
If you're not a competent welder, I mean, just laying, I mean, we all know what it's like to read, the low cost book and then, lay it out and then kind of build up a chassis from that. But it's a different animal when you're dealing with it from round tube. Just like the skill set to weld that is completely different.
Yeah, so we'll just put a post of it. It'll be unveiled at Newark. So I can't wait to go and see it. I know you've already seen it, Chris, and you love it. We've already mentioned that, but I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
it'd be very interesting as well because Tim Dutton's unveiling his new Mazda based, I believe, at Newark as well. So to have two new.
Tim might not make it because I don't think it's ready. Okay. I think that the plan was
last I heard he was aiming, but
I know he's aiming to do it, but oh, this is his Dutton website,
I dragged it out because I mean it's interesting. It's going to be a Mazda based as well, and it does harken back to the old days. Look at that.
I saw the pictures a while back before we put them on the website. There were a few floating around if you knew where to look for them. It's still got that look of a Phaeton. It's still got the lineage of a Phaeton. Do you know what I mean? He's not gone overboard and changed it absolutely completely. You look at that, it's come from the Phaeton range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if anybody can produce a volume, reasonably priced kit car that will go easily together, Tim Dutton's the man. He's been doing it for so long. He produced so many kits. He knows what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. And he's still got a world record, which I always keep mentioning, because he had the 2 Dutton amphibious cars that crossed the English Channel. So he's still got a world record for that. Nobody else has ever attempted it.
No. Yeah. How bonkers do you want?
I'm interested to learn more about that particular Phaeton because I mean you look at a lot of the I guess the MX-5 kits and they're basically using the roller type of an idea so that you've got the existing underpinnings of the chassis and you just roll it on out and then you lay the fiberglass body on top. Now I don't know if this is going to be the same as that, and looking at some of the pictures that I have seen, I'm kind of thinking this has got a space frame and it's going to be remove your body parts and assemble it.
Possibly
construction.
Possibly because normally just strip off the MX-5 body as it is, and you're right, Jim, you're left with that like kind of roller skate chassis underpinnings, and
that seems to be what is very, very, very attractive to we were talking about the body kit kids. They're less inclined to want to weld up a space frame and then assemble it, but they're quite willing to disassemble an MX-5, get it down to a roller with the front and rear subframes intact, and just roll out and have a built to suit body kit lowered down on top of it and assemble it. I mean,
exactly.
The big deal with the MX-5 with that power frame that runs down the middle of the car is it keeps the wheelbase and it keeps the steering and rear suspension geometry correct, even without the body on. So you can put a very lightweight semi-space frame, or you could even do it with a stressed fiberglass monocoque that would bolt on top. because you then still got the you've got the rigidity along the powertrain that's going through the power frame in the middle rather than going through the body. So it's a lovely setup for people who wanted to make stuff that's low volume specialist stuff.
Yeah,
and I was going to say with the MX5 donor, the later ones are the best ones to go for because they've got the limited slip up diff on the back. But for like £600-700, you've got your full donor.
Yes.
And the bodywork's probably rotted, but all the underpinnings, maybe a couple of new bushes, you're good to go. You're good to go. And plus, you can sell off all the little bits that you don't want. And a lot of people that have done it have actually made money on their donors. Buy it for £600, sell parts off, and they've made £400.
Yeah,
great idea.
Yeah. Well, speaking on that same thought line, we're now looking at the Quantum LMR 141, and that is basically the model that they're looking at. Is basically the front and rear substance roller, a complete MX5, and there you have it.
Gorgeous looking car.
Well, so much more attractive than the replica. Excuse me, I don't mean to throw dirt on the replica, but I mean, as Rob Hancock has said himself, you don't need to have to worry about landing a plane on it. It's just, it looks right.
Yeah, they shortened it and widened it and done bits and pieces, certainly on the front and the back. And the proportions look absolutely brilliant.
But going back to the body kit sort of idea, just like that seems to be the direction that a lot of people are going these days. I've talked to a number of guys who are even making the body plugs, if you will, the molds, and that's the direction. There's some guys in Australia that are making a number of kits, just body kits.
I've seen those, but they will fit a 7. They will fit a 7 as well.
But they're focusing on doing, again, nobody wants to build a 7 space frame, and because there's all kinds of different sizes for the space frame. They'll build it, make it one size fits all for the MX5, and they can move it out the door. It's basically they have to be able to turn a profit too. Otherwise, why bother being in business?
Yeah.
The Australians have also got there's a company called Dirty Dog Outlaws, I think is the name of the company.
Yeah. He wants to do a show with us. Really terrific little unit they're making there.
Based on MGF, which is we've got so many MGFs again falling apart in this country that for no money, that it's a lovely product. Unfortunately, the logistics for them is difficult to get the whole thing over here and get it built. Really good looking car and a very reasonable price really for what you're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to move right along because we can go through all of the different manufacturers that we all have interviewed before, but I'm going to bring in somebody new, seeing that my mindset is totally obsessed with body kits these Trevor Rolfe told me yesterday, he said, "Did you know that there's going to be a new presenter at Newark?" And I said, "No, tell me about it." And he said, "Yeah, the guys at Turismo are going to be there." And I know nothing about Turismo, but I know enough to find a web browser. And I sent him off a quick message and said, "Would you join our show today?" And he said yes, but I think he didn't mean yes.
I think he's possibly got connection problems, but he's going to be at Newark as well, and it's the Porsche. It's the Porsche replica.
Yeah,
that one looks really nice.
Yeah, and they've got a whole line. I mean, it's not just the Porsche. Let's have a look. They've got the Avalanche GT right there, and that one's your MR2 thing too. So there you go.
Because MR2 were great donors as well, because you got the engine in the back as well, of course. So
yeah. And that's of interest to me. If you could strip it down, make it rigid, which is really important to me, and light, I'd be interested in that as a project.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing them at Newark.
Yeah, absolutely. We might have to stick a microphone in front of his face. I don't know who'd be up for doing that. Sounds great. So, where are we at time? Well, we've got 10 minutes left.
Do you want to flick over to the Newark show website. We can just have a quick flick through, see what's going on. There we go.
Yeah.
Just have a look, see what manufacturers are going. Just have a scroll down.
Okay, I'll do that. Hang on just a second. I am now switching.
So anybody wants to go to Newark, it's got all the details of the prices. Tickets are available on the door as well. Some events they aren't. Just turn up. It's free to get in if you've got a kit car. Passengers will have to pay, I think it's 10 quid. All the details are on the website. Go and have a look. But the website also lists all the manufacturers are going to be there. There are more manufacturers that may not well be on the list yet. But also there's a club display area. So have a flick through, Jim. You can just whet people's appetite if people want to go and have a look.
No, we're going to see DJC, of course, and DJC is somewhere warming himself in the sun somewhere in the Mediterranean right now and couldn't make it. So.
I messaged Dan and he said he would love to join us, but I think he's on a beach somewhere. But he will be back for Newark. He will be bringing the DJC cars, which are absolutely brilliant bits of kit. So it'd be good to catch up with him again.
Yeah, and of course Hawk Cars and Jerry Hawkridge, who was infinitely entertaining, and so that'd be great if we can stick a microphone in his direction. And of course we got GTM.
I found a lovely picture of Jerry Hawkridge back in a magazine called Sporting Cars from 1984. And I'm not going to show you because I need his permission first, so I might end up in court. But Jerry looks different.
Don't we all?
Bring it to Newark and you can show him off camera.
I will do. Yeah. It's not a horrible shot. It's quite a flattering one. But he's it's an interesting picture.
We're going to have GTM Engineering there as well, and of course that's what's his name, Hambly. It's
Hambly.
It's what is his name?
Great handling cars as well.
Yeah. Now I'm of course very, very interested in those because I just love GTMs, and it's just such a shame that they've been dropped from the menu. But it's great to see that he's keeping the classic GTMs alive, albeit with Yamaha motorbike engines, and it's just fabulous. And he'll be there. So looking forward to that.
And it could also still offer body bits and body shells and replacement parts for any older existing or any that people have got. So it's still going strong. Great following as well.
Absolutely. And of course, back to the events page. We've got, I don't know what IT regeneration is. So if you happen to know about that, please shoot it my way. I looked it up on the internet and I find nothing about them. Of course, MK will be there. And of course, what can we say?
MK, another big one. MK will be unveiling a new demo car. So I can't wait to see it as well.
Yeah. And Tiger Racing, of course, we mentioned that. Of course, we're going to have what do we got here? I mentioned AK Sports Cars. Wendy, I'm sure, will be there, and be great to see what they're up to as well.
I nearly dropped a note about one of their cars to see whether it was going to be there. It's the one called Apple, which is a stunning colour green. It wasn't a demo car, but I think they've sold it. I think they know where it's gone. It's absolutely stunning colour, but they probably will be bringing at least a couple of, certainly one GT40. Green one called Juniper is my favourite, and they always have a brilliant selection of Cobras as well. You can have a look at.
Absolutely. So that's a list of the exhibitors in terms of manufacturers, but there's going to be all the suppliers there as well. Of course, there's one more we have to mention because I did invite him to come onto the show, and he couldn't make it today. That's Harvey raced at XCS. I asked him to come in, but it's right now it's open day for for them at the shop. So he's not going to be available.
It's amazing what they're putting out. And he did mention it was about a year ago. He did say, watch this space because we're going to be doing what he called big Cobra builds.
Yeah.
And he's right. When go and have a look at their website. But they're now looking at a 4-wheel drive Cobra. With all the anti-camper comp, huge big engine in it. So I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. As we all hold our breath, and the words that sit in the back of our minds, the acronym that people know the cars by, just sits there and rises up in our chests.
Well, they're also doing that 7, aren't they? With that
the DHE.
Yeah, well, they do the DHE, which is the bigger one, isn't it? But they're also doing what with the K24 engine, which they're bringing the engines in from the state, and they're 1,000 horsepower as standard.
Yeah, it's an amazing piece of machinery, and it's very interesting to go and take a look at the site that provides the engines. And
fascinating.
It is totally fascinating.
Was it 4-piston racing or 4-pot racing? 4-piston racing, I think it was in the States.
Could be. Anyway, I love what they do. It's just amazing. Bring your paycheck and your checkbook, and you'll get something very unique. And I asked Harvey, is he moving out a lot more kits, or is it a different? And he said, you know what? It's the demographic thing that we were talking about earlier. He said that the gents that shop at his site are more mature people who have established their financial freedom, and they want to have something built for them, and they're willing to pay for it. So
we did an interview with him at Malvern, and he was saying that he's doing far more customer builds now, that they're actually going to be moving to new premises, which is underway.
Yeah,
I'm not going to mention too much where it is or whatever, because pictures and stuff. Cause I know he's going to announce it shortly.
If you go to their website, you can actually see some shots of the new site.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot bigger because he's just, as you say, he's just running out of space at the minute. The demand for fully built cars and customer cars is gone through the roof. AK said a similar thing as well. AK Sports Cars, they're seeing a lot of people wanting pretty much fully built cars. So it's great for the industry. And also, we haven't touched on about the clubs that are going to go to Newark.
Well, that's why I kind of dropped that out there. I don't have on the website. It does not show where everybody's located on that particular website. So I'm going to let you ramble on. This is your bailiwick. You're the Northwest Kit Car Owners Group, so you know where everybody is, and you know about all the new people on site.
Yeah, there is if you go back to the website, Jim, if you have a look at the clubs, there is a map. So just go back, anybody watching, go and have a look at the Newark Kit Car website. There is a map you can pull up and have a look and see where people are.
Okay, I'll leave a link in the description for people can go research that, because you can. We don't
need to bring it up.
We've already been on for 58 minutes.
I was going to say,
be on for another 58.
Right, we've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to get it up now. Under an hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Car clubs. There's been a lot more Facebook groups popping up. I'd like to just mention as well the Lincolnshire Kit Car group. I'm not affiliated or whatever, but I am a member on there. New group, and it's going to be their first display at Newark. There's a couple of other ones. Luego is a new Kit Car Facebook page that's popped up. They don't have a stand at Newark, but yeah, if you look at go onto the Newark website, have a look at all the club stands that are going to be here. There's far more than ever, which is great, and we want these smaller clubs to bring as many cars as they can to Newark. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely. So why don't we have a nice weekend? And let's put a bow on this thing. And we'll see you at Newark.
See you at Newark. Yeah,
and just like to thank everybody for dropping in. Chris, thank you for dropping in. Thank Richard Hall for dropping in. And to everyone who's been watching this, just like support the industry. If you don't want to support the industry will die. And then, old guys like us will be left to bash away in the shed just building low costs. That's not what we want.
I always say with these shows, you use it or you lose it. And it's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, thanks again. And we will see you at 7 Spot. Now it's your turn, John.
Be seeing you.
Yeah,
cheers, Chris.
I'll see everybody. I'll see you at Newark. Come and say hello.
All right.
Well, I'll buy you a coffee.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers now.